Every successful person has experienced a turning point in their lives that took them from struggling to taking them to success. What's going on, guys? It's Uzziah, your success consultant, and in today's video, I want to find out, when will your turning point be in life? Maybe your turning point in life is going to be from watching this video. Maybe your turning point in life just happened. Maybe your turning point in life is on the way. And maybe from the three things that I share with you today, once that happens, you'll know exactly how to be able to capture it and take the turning point and turn it into a real success. So I want to share with you guys one of my personal turning points that I experienced at a very young age in my life. So I remember I was in high school at the time. And when I was in high school, I really wasn't getting good grades at all. I didn't think that I was going to go to college. I aspired really to go to jail more than to go to college, and I hung around the wrong group of friends. But at that point in my life, I was so detrimental to my own self. I didn't know all the gifts that were inside of me that would allow me to be able to move forward. So one day, I'm sitting in my speech class. There was a class, I believe I might have been in my 11th grade, and it was on public speaking. And in this 11th grade public speaking class, I just thought that this class was going to be a breeze because I was always naturally good at being a public speaker. So there was someone that was in the room at the time, and this person ended up later being in a relationship with me. And they were really frazzled by how well I could speak in front of a large audience, especially considering the fact that I never tried to push myself academically. I didn't look like I was someone that was really going places. You wouldn't have voted me as the most likely to succeed in high school at the time. And I think that she became very intrigued with where I could have gone if I actually apply myself in my life. This became my very first relationship in my life. And so she ended up going to Stanford University. She got really good grades all throughout high school. You know, she was at the top of each class. She was making, varsity teams and just doing all these great things. But for some reason, she took interest in little old me. So we end up getting into this relationship. And one of the things that really troubled me was when I would find myself being introduced to some of her family members and some of her friends, or it could have even been future colleagues, people that, was in a room, and I found myself being introduced to them. And for one reason or another, I always felt really ashamed, because here it was, I'm having this girlfriend that's going to Stanford, making really good grades, extremely high GPA, going the extra mile. And here I am, being a bum. Somebody that didn't plan on doing a lot with their life. Somebody that was just kind of going through the motions. I really didn't feel like I had a calling. I didn't really feel like I had a purpose. I was getting in fights. I was just doing whatever. I was just going whatever the wind blowed. And I felt that there was so much shame that I was taking in being around these people who I could feel were looking at me and saying, "The hell are you with this dude for? Don't you know that you're going places? Why would you be involving yourself with someone that's on this level, and meanwhile you're on that level?" I felt so embarrassed and so much shame through those experiences when I would step in a room with her, that became a turning point for me to actually start to get serious about my personal success. And it was no later than that 1 year in school that I went on to be a 4.0 student. I went on to be in honor societies. I went on to go to college. I went on to really start to try to transform myself in a different way, all because of the fact that I went through one critical moment in my life that really kind of changed the course of how I wanted my end result to be able to look. And for all of us, including you, We all have a turning point in our lives. The question is, when your turning point comes, what are you going to do with it? Are you just going to let it pass by in the moment and you just really don't value it? You don't cherish it? You don't capitalize on the experience? Or are you going to have that turning point happen in your life and you're really going to use it as a catalyst to be able to spring your life forward in ways you never thought possible? So, the top 3 things starts with this first principle, that when you find yourself going through any obstacle, because you're going to go through tremendous obstacles on the road to success. I want you to know this now. I've never said on the success journey, success is going to be a breeze. Life is going to be a cakewalk. You're going to apply for every job and you're going to get it. You're going to work every job and not get fired. You're going to start a business and it's going to be quick, easy, 1, 2, 3. You're just going to immediately reach success. If you're going to strive for success, success is not going to happen overnight. And you're going to find yourself going through a lot of ups and downs. You're going to find yourself going through sleepless nights. You're going to find yourself going through the blood, sweat, and the tears, the blows, anything, whatever you want to call it. You're going to go through hell before you can really find yourself achieving the things that you want out of life. And so, when you go through those trying moments, it's a test to see whether or not you really want to make it. It's a test to see if you really want to be successful. Guess what? Everybody wants to be successful. If you're a guy and you've ever thought about being really physically fit, what guy wouldn't want a 6-pack? What guy wouldn't want bulging biceps? What guy wouldn't want a great physique? But you know what separates the people that desire to have it versus the people that actually get it? It's when they go to the gym, they're consistent with going. They don't just go for one workout and say, oh, well, I don't feel like going, so I guess I'm not going to go because the goal is not that important. Whenever those people that overcame the pains in life were met with resistance, they remembered their turning point, and that helped to push their life forward. Like when you look at a guy that used to be totally overweight, totally obese, just let himself completely go. And then you see him become so physically fit out of nowhere. Don't you think that there was a turning point where something actually activated in his mind to say, today is the last day that I'm ever going to settle for this type of a life. Today is going to be the last day where I look at myself in the mirror and I feel ashamed. There's some turning point that happens. And when you go through your obstacles in life, which will inevitably come, the one thing that's going to help you be able to get past those obstacles and keep moving forward, go through a million no's before you can get to a yes, is to remember that turning point. And when you can remember what the turning point was and how it made you feel right there in that moment, that's going to allow you to be able to persevere and have enough grit to keep moving forward. Because like I said, everybody is going to be met with resistance. Nobody's going to be successful overnight. If you see someone that is really successful, there's thousands of failures that you never saw on camera, and it was something about their passion. It was something about their drive. It was something about their focus that made them say, keep going. Yes, I know I failed, but I'm going to keep going. Yes, I know I keep hearing no, 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 no. Yes, I know I keep getting rejected. Yes, I know that people are not taking my vision as seriously as I take my vision based upon my self-belief, but there's something inside of me that keeps me going until I get to where I want to get. You can only really get there if when you hit those brick walls, you remember that very day where you went through the turning point and you say, now I move forward. Secondly, I want you to remember that turning point so that way you can tap into whatever side that turning point brought out of you in that moment, so that way you can use that energy to get past your barriers. So I'm going to give you a prime example. Let's say that you found yourself going through a turning point in life. and you experienced a hardship. You experienced a moment where, it really made you sad. It really made you upset. It really made you frustrated. It really brought some strong emotions out of you. When you work on your success path, instead of putting that all the way behind you and forgetting about those emotions entirely, I want you to think about how you could actually overcome some of the barriers that you're experiencing right now if you were able to channel the person that you were right there at the moment where you had a turning point. This is the reason why it's so important. People are creatures of habit. So for you to go through a turning point, that means that in however many years that you've been living on this earth, there was something that happened to you in your life that was so profound that it sparked some massive change on some massive level. It doesn't happen regularly. It doesn't happen normally. We're wired to be a certain type of a way. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. So for you to have felt a serious change and a turn in that very moment means that there was different emotions that had to be stirred up in you. Something different had to be going on to be able to switch gears in a way that you weren't expecting. What I want you to do is, I want you to remember how you felt at the time that you were going through that turning point, so that way when you encounter your next barrier and it feels like it's impossible to get through and you can only keep getting whatever you've gotten up to this point, remember the emotions that you had at your turning point that was able to help change your life in some direction. So if you went through a situation where maybe you experienced a bad relationship, maybe you had a bad breakup and it pissed you off, whatever it is that you went through, channel that emotion in a way that is productive. Instead of allowing yourself to be bitter, angry, vindictive, all of these negative things that's never going to get your life anywhere, begrudging. Instead of operating in that type of mentality, be pissed off about getting to success. That same type of, pissed off feeling that you felt, take that same pissed off energy and use it to allow you to propel past the wall that you can't jump over. Maybe you don't have the strength within yourself. Like, have you ever noticed in life that when people, like, their life is really on the line and their back is against the wall in a certain type of a way, they're able to do these death-defying things that they would not have ever been able to accomplish at any other time? Like, have you ever seen, like, maybe it was on a TV show or something like that, where somebody's life was in danger and a person had like this superhuman strength right then at that moment? They could have lifted up a car. They could have did something that was really like supernatural and out of the ordinary, all because something had happened at that time that had sparked something in them that they didn't even realize was there until that very moment. Maybe you didn't realize how heroic you were until that very moment. Maybe you didn't realize how mad you could get until that very moment. Whatever ingredients went into the thought processes and the emotions of your turning point in life, I want you to be able to go back to that moment. Don't be afraid of it. Take a moment to remember it, channel it, and bring it back to your life when you find yourself going through those obstacles. Because a lot of times, if you look at people that are successful, and a lot of times people won't tell you this because they'll keep everything fluffy and vanilla and everything's supposed to be so good and so moral and so this and so that. A lot of times, people have to tap into some of the darker sides of themselves in order for themselves to really be able to get to the next level. So when I'm saying tap into the darker side of yourself, am I saying go rob a person, go steal a person? Am I saying that? Absolutely not. Please don't misinterpret what I'm saying right now. I'm saying that if your dark side means that you got to be a little pissed to be able to get something done, you got to be a little angry, you got to be a little charged up, Don't go through life and you got a dream and you got a vision and you're just going through it just passive as hell, just laid back, just la da da da. I guess if I'm going to do work today, I'm going to accomplish it. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. This is just what life wanted things to be. No, that shouldn't be your mentality. If there's something in this life that you really care about, you need to be able to channel every emotion that can move you productively in a positive force and be able to use those emotions at will. That's what you got to be able to do. You look at any person that's played in any type of competitive sport, or they've accomplished something at a very high level of world class. They're not always going to be in nice guy Eddie mode. It's not always going to happen. They're going to have to dig deep into whatever emotions really set that switch in them to be able to be used in a productive way to move themselves forward. Okay? So last but not least, I want you in this third point, have a journal. Because when you have a journal that you're able to write, life experiences down on paper every single night, you're going to be able to remember these turning points in greater detail. A journal is very important because of this. You're not going to remember everything that happens in your life just in your everyday memory. I bet you can't even remember what you ate last Tuesday for lunch. That's how short-term the mind can really be, unless it's something that really sticks deep down in the brain. There's so many experiences that we go through in our everyday life. It just comes and goes. It's one ear out the other. It's just a blur. You don't remember it. And when you don't really remember the things that are really important for you to remember, your life becomes a rerun of yesterday, all because you never learned the things that you were supposed to learn from the day before. So one of the ways that you can actually grow in your life and take things to the next level is to start recording the events of the day. Start recording your turning point. Start recording, moments where you actually captivate an important person. Moments that you meet somebody special. Moments that you go through trials and tribulations and what happened and how you felt in those moments. And then you're going to start turning the pages from one day to the next, and you're going to realize your life is going to go in a certain direction. And you really never notice it when you just wake up every single day without a purpose, without a plan, without comparing it to what last week looked like, or the week before, or 3 weeks, maybe 13 weeks before. Maybe you're not able to kind of analyze your life on that level. And because of the fact that you're not, life has a way of repeating itself because you haven't learned your lesson. This allows you to document your lessons learned. This allows you to be able to take the turning point, put it on paper, and then actually write out, how is this going to help me grow? And then you go out and you live the difference the following day. And then the next day comes, you take your journal, you write down those lessons, and every day is about growing and building. This is about growth. Me being your success consultant, I'm really trying to help you grow in ways that you never thought that you could grow before. So what I want you to be able to do is, I want you to be able to leave me a comment, and I want you to tell me what the turning point has been in your life. What turning point have you experienced that's allowed you to want to be successful? And how are you going to be able to use that turning point to help you achieve success? What has been your turning point? Leave it for me in a comment. Leave me that comment. I'm going to respond to your comments. I'm reading it. I can't wait to hear from you. I'm looking forward to being able to connect with you at a deeper level to help you become as successful as possible. Because this is deep to me. This isn't just some random video. This is serious to me. I'm about improving my brother. I'm about improving my community. I want to see us get to a better place. But it can only happen if you're willing to do the work right along with me. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Leave me a comment below, and I can't wait to see you on the next video. Take care.